Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome back for another episode of Capes and Commentary. That is our regular Wednesday night live stream here on the Carlos Collects Comics channel. I'm Carlos. I'm excited that you're here. We've got a great special guest with us hanging out tonight, as well as a couple of my regular panelists. They're hanging out backstage. Got some great stuff to share with you for Paul's pickups, special retro readers review, and more as we get into it and do some interviewing with our special guest. Before we do that, let me roll these credits. We'll see you in a second.
Don't force me out of bed in your society. Don't push me down the road you've been down. Don't try to fix my head.
All right. Hey, we're glad that you're here. I'm going to go ahead and do some shout outs to the chat as y'all are hanging out. I see plenty of people hanging out here. And then we're going to go ahead and bring out a panel and then our special guest. El Green Machine, what is up? It's good to see you, buddy. Glad that you are here hanging out with us tonight, as always. He's also one of our channel members, so big shout out and thank you to El Green for being a supporter. Also got, let's see, Fallen Angel. It is Emma Dudley. She says, good evening, everyone. Happy National Sloppy Joe Day and Happy New Comic Book Day, of course. Happy National Sloppy Joe Day. I didn't know that Sloppy Joes had a day, but that's it. She says, be sure to hit the like button and subscribe. If not a member, consider becoming one. Best YouTube channel, best membership tier is the Dark Knight. That's right. Check it out. We're going to run the commercial in just a minute here and let y'all see what the tiers are for channel membership. Wolverado is dropping in, another one of our channel members. Good to see you. C Grip the Monster. Good to see you as well. Glad that y'all are hanging out with us. Brooklyn Born. Haven't seen you in a minute. Good to see you as well. Paul better have my Billy. I don't know if he does. Andrew Kai from Down Under is just hanging out. Glad that you're here. Gerald Yates, glad that you are here as well, hanging out. Joffrey Castro, good to see you, buddy. Oh, no, it's Carl's time. That's right. It is Carl's time. Happy Comic Book Day. Cliff, the guest star. That's right. He is here hanging out with us. David Dotson, good to see you as well. Green Machine is the man. That's right, he is. Awesome guy. All right, hey, glad that y'all are all here hanging out with us tonight. We're going to go ahead and get things going. But before I did that, hey, you heard it mentioned here, channel membership. I wanted to show this to y'all and see what you think about it. Why don't you check this out real quick while I figure out what's going on with my mouse. Hey, what's up, everybody? It's Carlos, and I want to tell you about a very important way that you can help support the channel by becoming a channel member here on the Carlos Collects Comics channel. We have 2 tiers of membership. The Man of Steel, which is priced at $4.99 per month, and what that gets you is exclusive access into the channel member-only live stream, Carlos and Friends, which is on the first and third Friday of every month. The other channel member tier that we have is the Dark Knight member tier for $14.99 a month. Actually gets you a quarterly care package picked out by me of books that are sent to you. It's the best kind of mystery box because it's shaped around the questionnaire that you answer to give me information. So please consider becoming a channel member here on the Carlos Collects Comics channel. Thanks. All right. Well, hey, let's go ahead and bring out regular panelists that are here hanging out with us. Let me go and bring him out first because he's having a hard time containing himself. He's so excited. He's ready to be here. Here is Jen, the future Batman. Say hi to everybody, Jen.
Hey, what's up, guys? I'm back after 2 weeks eating this amazing meal that my wife made for me. It is a holy month of Ramadan, so everyone that has opened their fast at 8:45 can now finally eat. Anyways, we're gonna have a good show tonight. Fallen Angel, I like sloppy joes too. I like getting them and eating them. Anyways, let's get this going. Let's get this show going. Woo! Yeah, let's get it going.
Awesome. All right, let me go and bring out Paul and have Paul say hi to everybody.
All right, guys. Appreciate everybody being here tonight. I don't know what Carlos and Jen are going to talk about, but we have a special guest that's going to be hopefully helping me out. You know, it gets tiresome on here. You know, my shoulders get hurt carrying the show, but I'm here. Appreciate everybody being and oh,
Wow.
Emma posted something in the group chat, and I'll tell you a secret, Emma. I got it, Emma. So, yep, y'all gonna see tonight.
Oh man. Okay. I can't wait to see what you've got. Well, now hey, listen, if you're wondering what he's talking about, there is a Carl Collects Comics group chat over on Instagram. If you'd like to be a part, just hit me up, let me know, and we will add you to it. It's a lot of fun. We drop cool stuff that we come across, pickups, different stuff. People ask for advice about purchases. Everybody chimes in.
Emma, pretty please, can I get this book? Pretty
and Carl's does ask Emma to pull certain books for me. So I'm much appreciative of her and her continuing to do that. What's up, Tat Comics 6780? Good to see, or Tate Comics, good to see you. Glad that you're here hanging out with us. Thanks for being here. Check it out, look around, see what you think. All right, so tonight we've got a very special guest with us. He's a fantastic YouTuber in his own right. Does, I think, literally a million different things. But I'm excited to bring him on and for us to do this little collaboration and get to hang out with each other on each other's channels. I'll be appearing on his channel on Sunday morning. This Sunday morning, I think at 9 a.m. Central. And then, so I'm looking forward to that, getting us going over there and hanging out there. But he is hanging out with us tonight. I am, of course, talking about the man that I'm about to put up here on the screen, Cliff on Comics. Cliff, why don't you say hi to everybody?
Hi, everybody. Hello. Thanks for having me. I got my coffee ready because I need to stay awake. So we got this.
That's right.
I put my filter on so that I look just like my complexion looks as young as I sound. I'm just trying to keep it right.
The filter on.
Najee, you are up and watching. Good evening. I'm doing well, Najee. I hope you're doing good too.
Man, hey, it's good. I appreciate you coming on tonight, Cliff, because I know that this is late for you, right? Because you're an hour behind us, aren't you?
I'm at how we're at.
Head.
Oh, that's right. An hour ahead. That's right. Yeah. So you're you right now.
Cliff.
20.
That's okay.
All right. So Cliff, why don't you start off just by telling us real quick what's your tell us a little bit about your YouTube channel, because you have a couple of YouTube channels, which I think is awesome, and I want to hear more about them. Tell us about your main YouTube channel.
My YouTube channel is Cliff on Comics, which is hilarious because it rebirthed like a phoenix after I joined Sam over on his channel, the Council of Comics. And I would appear in chats and I was like Clifford NY, and people were like, whoever this Clifford NY is, and I'm like, I don't like this. Everyone else looks so cool with their names. Legion of Comics, DJ Links, Carlos Collects, Chris Collects stuff. Everybody had a name, and I'm like, well, what am I doing? I don't like this. So of course, I went with Cliff on Comics, which I was just thinking about me at the time because I just wanted to give myself a label, right? And stand out a little bit. But of course, it's the Council of Comics, so it's still COC. And then of course, because people know my big gay ass, they make fun of those initials. So here we are with that. But I've been collecting since I was like 4, I want to say, and then like I was 9 or 10. Or maybe wait. What year was Man of Steel? 86.
So, was which one?
Man of Steel, the miniseries. That was 86.
Oh yeah. That was the late 80s. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah,
So that makes me 8 years old when I actually was like, oh my gosh, I'm collecting comics, right? Because it was all over the news, and I was like, I gotta have this book. I gotta have it. So, my mom would take me to this supermarket / everything store. Right? They had a restaurant inside. They had a barbershop. They had a liquor store. They had a toy department. They had clothing. They had everything. And this was before the days of Walmart, It was called Lloyd's. There was 2 of them, one in my town. And then I would find out years later there was one, like, the township, not over, but there was like a popular township 20 minutes away from us, which is where my job's headquarters is. And like they had it, and that plaza that's there today that used to have Lloyd's, it's still called Lloyd's Way or something like that. It's still named after it. And the old man who created it, whatever his name was, I can't remember, but his son and son-in-law inherited the company. And one day they got into a fight about floor tiles because they couldn't agree on floor tiles for the two stores, right? And thank you, Silver Eagle. They couldn't agree on floor tiles, and then it was one of those things where they were just so angry that was it. It was just a blowout, and they just dissolved the whole company, and that was it. And people were out of a job, and then the next thing you know, not too long after, Walmart swooped right in, you know, and of course, a bunch of the ladies who used to work at Lloyd's all working at Walmart. And so that's a whole thing. But the point is, Lloyd's is part of my origin story. My mom is my origin story for supporting all my comic book bullshit. And oh my God, can I swear here? I'm so sorry. And I'm like, I feel like I can, but I'm also not. I'm trying to be polite just in case. You know? And so yeah, it's just been, well, Superman the movie is like my introduction to comic books, right? So like, and it was the night that it was a two-parter. So in my area, I'm seeing myself talking with my hands in the other monitor. It's funny. So in my area, the two-parter aired on CBS, right? And so one night we're just watching TV, and I see Superman leap into the air, going to catch Lois, and it says to be continued. So we watched. Oh, wow. The next night we watch it. I'm in love with Superman, and of course it was a 2-night event because it had all these extra things in it, right? And so. Now you can own that extended cut. Like I own it digitally. I have the extended cut, right? That was shown on television.
Oh, that is cool.
Yeah, and there's still a little piece missing that I think that oh my God. Anyhow, when they were redoing it, there's a guard that's sent to arrest Jor-El, right? And he's on his way to Jor-El, and then when the planet is being destroyed and Jor-El and Laura are like holding on to each other in their final moments, right? You see the guard who was sent to them, you see him plummeting to his death, right? And so if you find like the bootleg VHS version that people taped back in the day, you'll see that part, but that part is not in the extended cut. All of this to say that it made me into a huge Superman fan, making me into a DC fan, making me chase down stuff. Then I had this buddy Eric in 6th and 7th grade, and he got me kind of into Marvel Comics, and it just went all downhill. Okay, we got
okay. He's got
Ray Machine, welcome. Hi. I see people in the chat I recognize. I feel good. Bison Comics, hello. I have comic issues. Brian, also Tony, Old Wolf, my man. Thank you all for being here.
Yeah, looks like we got some people hanging out here from. It's kind of cool. Have the two channels mingling together like this. I like it. I like the vibe.
Yeah.
But man, so that's pretty cool. And so that kind of poured into like creating the channel and having a place to kind of.
Right. So in college in the late 90s, I did some stuff at the radio station, the campus radio station. Right.
Okay.
So like 7 a.m. on Sunday, nobody gave a shit that I talked about comic books for an hour. Right? So that was awesome. That was my first taste, and that's the late 90s. Then some years passed, it's around 2006. Yeah, around 2006. The Versus trading card game comes out, and oh my God, I love these dudes. I forgot the name of their channel, but they were covering Versus cards, but they wanted to get away from Versus because they were all in love with Warcraft. The Warcraft trading card game was coming, and little did we know that between that and the Yu-Gi-Oh fraud, it was the beginning of the end. So, me and my buddy, online buddy, we got together and we formed a podcast called The Council of Comics, and we did that for a while.
Wow.
So that went on for a couple of years. My father passed away in like 2007. I still kept doing it. I was really into the Versus card game until it just absolutely tanked. And it tanked because, number one, they just stopped caring about our game and put all their efforts into Warcraft. And number two, because they were just printing fake Yu-Gi-Oh cards left and right, and it was a huge scandal. And as we know, Upper Deck has rebounded from that. All those people are gone. I'm not going to besmirch their current name. And they turned Versus into a 2-player Marvel card game. Okay, but
Yeah.
like, unfortunately, it never won me back. But I have so many of those cards. I have so many of those cards with the original, that had original art. So I have them signed by a lot of creators like Stuart Sager and there's a couple there's more than a couple Alex Ross cards. I have some of those signed. So it's really great.
Wow.
So I was also really into Dan Delatorre. Hey, I love you, Dan. And
Wait. Here we go. Hang on. Jen's got something to share with us. Jen, hang on. I'm gonna bring you up. It's one of the.
Where's my Spider-Man version of this? Where's my Captain America version of this? Actually, I have the Captain America version of this. I just gotta watch the Avengers movies to get my version. You know,
one of one, man. One of one out there. That's a one of one.
Excellent. I love Rogue, by the way, because I really identified the first X-Men I ever fell in love with was Jean Grey, right? Because I was like, oh my God, this bitch is gonna burn it all down, right? So, but then I really fell in love with Rogue's story because like I was like, oh my God, she feels so lonely. She can't touch anybody. And that's exactly what my life felt like. So I was like, so then that was it. I was just like all about Rogue, just sitting around school, just being sad. being like, man, it just sucked. I was like, it sucked. I can't talk about being gay. Everybody's straight. Everybody has a girlfriend. Everybody's an asshole to me, which is not true. But you know what? Enough people to worry me. So I really poured myself into Rogue and Storm, and but Rogue's story was really appealing to me because of the whole like I can't touch anybody, I can't be with anybody, I can't really love anybody, I can't connect with people, and all of that. And of course, because of Superman, I really love Legion of Superheroes, and I loved Mon-El because Mon-El is like Superman's brother, not really like adopted brother. And like the whole thing with him being trapped in the Phantom Zone for like 1,000 years and the trauma that caused him, and all of his shit with isolation. So again, anytime the topic is isolation and loneliness, there I am, making it all about me. And so that's how I started getting into X-Men. So yeah, this buddy of mine, he gave me his trade, not gave me, but he loaned me his trade of the Dark Phoenix Saga, and I was obsessed, And then sometime after that, I found a trade or hardcover called The Phoenix Saga, and so it like covered everything from like issue 100 to to the end of the Dark Phoenix Saga.
Oh wow! Okay.
So I was like, oh my God, I was loving it. I was like, look at her fighting Fire Lord. Yeah, girl, get him. And I'm like, look at these bitches in the Hellfire Club. Like, I was just like, all those things, all the attitudes. And so that was my falling in love with X-Men period. But of course, I very much fell in love with Superman during the John Byrne period. But also, I was like context. So I was like reading new comics and exploring old continuity at the same time. And I have some of my earliest comic books around, like not at the moment, but I've shown them on other shows in the past couple of years. Because like one of my earliest comics is All-Star Squadron, and it's just Shazam or Captain Marvel beating the crap out of Earth 2 Superman. And I was like, this is another Earth. Oh, yeah. Why is Shazam beating the hell out of him? Like, so I love it. So I try, so of course I pieced together, and then I read Crisis. I had to go back and collect Crisis, and stuff sat in the newsstand forever. Like I was picking up like Man of Steel 4, and the Death of Supergirl was still on a comic book rack.
Yeah.
I miss those days. If I could just go back and buy everything off the rack at Walden Books, I'd be like, look at all the news. He's like, but like, I really just love that whole era. I love Superman. I loved how they try to explain away Superboy and continually over and over the reboots for my poor Legion, the reboots that they have suffered. I got my love of X-Men, and then of course everybody falls in love with Spider-Man. He's young, he's broke. I'm like, how can you not identify with that?
Right, yeah.
So if you had
So if you had to pick, like if you had to say, okay, these are, because it sounds like Rogue was a huge impact on you as a young, because I think that's what happens with us, like as adult collectors, is like in our, at a formative time in our youth, certain characters speak to us, certain characters impact us. So if you had to pick like three, and it sounds like Rogue is one of them, but if you had to pick three characters that you said, man, okay, these three are the three characters that have had the biggest impact, the biggest connection point with me, who would those three be? And I'm going to throw that out for Jen and for Paul also, and we'll do round robin style and let you guys think about it. And you don't have to share all. What did you say?
Do I have to pick three?
Jen's answer
or something.
I'll throw one out real quick. Okay, so for me, in 2018, because this is like kind of like two that are connected. In 2018, I saw Black Panther and was just blown away by it. I've been collecting comics forever. I was blown away by it because there was Meteor Man before, and then Blade. But for the first time, I was seeing a character of color whose power set and origin story and everything was tied back to his culture in a whole different, unique way that I hadn't seen before. And that made me, like, I sent out tweets to both DC Comics and, they never saw it because I don't have any, I just have like a couple thousand people.
You never know. You never know.
Yeah, they did see it.
The thing is, I texted them each and I said, hey, I was so excited. I loved Black Panther. When is there going to be a Hispanic movie character, right? When are we going to see that? Now obviously, there had been Zorro, the Antonio Banderas, the two films had come out, and Zorro's been around in mixed media forever. But that tied to two characters together that have had a big impact on me, which was Zorro. I still watch those with my kids now, and then Blue Beetle. When that came out in theaters, finally, a headlining Hispanic superhero. I took the whole family to go see it. We bought the little souvenir popcorn buckets, and it was the coolest thing in the world to walk out with my daughters. And our son was out of town already, to walk out and for them to look at. So Blue Beetle has had a huge impact. So I put him in my top three of characters. So I'm gonna send it back over to you, Cliff, and see what you got one that you want, like, aside from Rogue, that you
have my top three. Okay, and one of them still counts as Hispanic for the incorrect reason. Okay, because Linda Carter, okay, Linda, we all know.
Yep.
We all know. So Wonder Woman's in the three because of her, so she counts. And of course, growing up with my mom and my grandmother, of course, they're like, tú sabes que ella es mexicana, right? And I'm like, oh, okay. They're like, she's Latina. Her name is Linda because her father was going Linda. So I was like, all right. Hey, Mars, welcome. So, and it's really funny because if anybody was Hispanic, you knew it in my household. And if they were Puerto Rican, like Edie Chacon, you really knew it. You really knew it. We were watching Edie Chacon movies. We were watching the Edie Chacon show. It was just always. And my father never looked at another woman outside my mother in his life, but he had a crush on Chacon, right? So I always thought that was so funny. And my mom really. Too. My mom was pretty, and it's so funny too because like my mom never thought she was really beautiful when she's younger, but you look at those old photos, it was like, Mom, you were like a knockout. Like Dad was totally like upgrading, and I was like, he punched out of his weight class and he snatched you. And of course my father is from Canada. May he rest in peace. I'm gonna go and visit cousins with my mom for Easter. So yeah, Linda Carter, Wonder Woman comes in at number 3. Rogue is at number 2. No, actually, no. That is the wrong order. No, Linda Carter, Wonder Woman is at number 2. Rogue is at number 3, and Superman is at number 1.
Okay.
But I've got to say that Spider-Man runs a tight race for the number 2, number 3 spot.
Okay.
But like again, things change. Like when I saw Wiccan and Hulkling appear in Young Avengers number 1.
Oh yeah. Okay.
Young Avengers number 1. I was like, what is happening? And then I'm reading Young Avengers and I'm like, oh my God, I love everything that's happening right now so much. I've told Jim Chung many times, Alan Heinberg many times. I've just seen them at shows. I was like, do you know how much I love the Young Avengers? I'm like, do you know what you did for my soul? And then I'm just mad. Nobody gets a book. Everybody gets sidelined. I'm so happy to see that John Kent has not been officially sidelined. But I am mad that Tim Drake is sidelined. And also, like, why does everything gotta be so melodramatic? Like, Tim's book sucked. You did not put a good tier artist on his book, and then you wrote it like crap. And he's always arguing with Bernard. Nobody wants to see that. I don't want to see him argue with Bernard all the time. I'm not saying they can't have conflict. It shouldn't be a third of the book or a quarter of the book. It should be a page or two. We got limited.
Right, yeah.
Okay, I want to see batarangs flying, Robin Rangs flying. Punches and kicks. Let's get it happening.
Yeah. So you're about to get me going on this, right? Because I am a huge Tim Drake fan from all the way back. Because here's the thing. I've said it before on the show. Look, watch. Jen's getting locked and loaded and ready to go. He doesn't agree with me. All right. But this is my hot take on Tim Drake. All right. Whoa. Tim Drake, the best Robin. The best Robin, okay?
He's my favorite detective Robin.
Well, okay, and I have like a whole line of thought for it. I'm not going to get into all of it because I've done it before, and these guys are sick of hearing me talk about it. I'll just say this: I feel like he's the best Robin because Dick Grayson makes a better Nightwing, his own hero than he does a Robin. Jason Todd, I think, also makes a better Red Hood than he does Robin. I kind of set the other ones aside, but I think Tim Drake was the best Robin, and I think Tim Drake needs to be a natural successor to Batman. I mean, obviously he can't anymore because of the genealogy and the bloodline and all that with Damian and now I guess little Alfred or whatever. But because he was the detective that figured out who Batman was, like if you go back, and look at the origin story for Tim Drake, he showed up at Wayne Manor because he figured out, he put it all together that Bruce Wayne was Batman, and that puts his detective skills up there. And that's the thing that was the most frustrating with the recent handling of him, and even some of the Chuck Dixon, the original Robin run from the 90s, which was also one of my favorite runs of all time, was that there's not enough detective in his storylines. Like, he needs to be on full detective missions. I mean, because if you go back and you think about it, Batman, the greatest detective in the DC universe, thought he had all his bases covered, and Tim Drake was the one who saw past all of it and figured out his secret. And so, like, I have a pitch. That I want to, recently I've come up with that I want to get to DC about a series of backup stories for Tim Drake. Because I mean, he's an underutilized character, and I think they got too heavily into like you said, the melodrama. And I want to see him using those detective skills.
Well,
because he had them before.
Didn't they decline
he came to Robin? The what?
Didn't they declined it for the 1,000th time already?
Stop. All right. No, okay, Jen. All right. I can see you there laughing and ready to go.
He's ready.
Jen?
I don't know, man. I disagree with your take on Tim Drake. I think he's a lame Robin. I think he's trash.
Oh my God!
There's a reason he takes the back burner. He takes the back burner every single time because he's not a leader. He's a total cut.
Did you not read Young Justice? Did you not read Young Justice? You did not read Young Justice.
He didn't read Young Justice.
About Young Justice. Listen, man.
No, of course not. You didn't read
All I
shit.
care about is Battle of the Cow. Okay? All I care about is, did you not read Battle of the Cow? Did you read Battle of the Cow?
Yeah, it was garbage. I can't control
no, Battle of the Cow was not garbage. In fact, there's a lot of things in Battle of the Cow that actually show why Tim Drake will never be a frontliner. So that's one of the biggest reasons.
Yeah, but trash. Come on, Jen. It wasn't trash.
Okay.
That's not trash. That was probably one of the better runs that led into that. That was probably one of the better runs that that ran into Dick Grayson becoming Batman. So, and Dick Grayson Batman's probably one of the best runs ever, even with Damian Wayne being the what is it called? The comic relief. So right, I don't know. I don't know what you're talking about. That was actually one of the best Batman comics ever written.
I mean, okay, so talking about Dick Grayson, I also think
I agree with Dick Grayson Batman, which by the way happened twice. Let's not forget that it happened in Prodigal.
Right.
When we got Batman and Robin. I agree that it always works with him. Oh, and don't forget when the Justice League died before the New 52, that he was the Batman in the Justice League. Supergirl replaced Superman, and Donna Troy replaced Wonder Woman. Jade replaced Green Lantern. Jesse Quick replaced the Flash. Don't forget that James Robinson gave us that backup team. Also, Mon-El was there too. Like, we needed two super people, but whatever.
Yeah.
But I gotta tell you, just because you were right about that one thing doesn't mean you're not wrong about Tim. You were wrong about Tim. And
I don't know, man. There's a reason. There's a reason he hasn't been a frontliner, and it has a lot to do with popularity. It has a lot.
I think it has a lot to do with the fact that there's like 15 Robins running around the DC universe.
Right,
that's problem number one.
There was a whole book called Robins, and there was like 8 of them in it. You know, those kids in those jackets. Jesus Christ, why? And they're still out there. And remember Batman Eternal? Where the hell are those kids? Blue Jay and Nightingale and whoever the fuck they are. What is don't get me started. This is why I actually don't like Batman. It is all too much. It's just all too much. But I do like Batman as a detective. I love Tim as a detective. Go read the Chuck Dixon run of freaking Robin before you go making calls out.
Yeah, that's the right one.
You know? The Tim is wonderful. The Tim Drake, Connor Kent show, I love them together. Like, it was time. But the thing is, Damian showed up. Damian's popularity took over. And then, what do we do with Tim? So they made him into Red Robin. And then that was kind of shitty. And then,
okay. I'll say, let me just interject on that, though. I think there's room to recraft. Okay, because here's who I'd love to see. Right, do it real quick because of what she did with Catman. Gail Simone doing Tim Drake as Red Robin, you know, kind of reshaping him the way she did with the Edward Blake Catman in Villains United and the Secret Six. She would create a character that was way too popular for his own good. Like DC editorial would have to watch on it. I'm just throwing that out there. I think that there's a route for him to do something with the Red Robin mantle and make it really work. So the mantle I like, but yeah, I agree with you. I don't think it's been handled well to date.
Do you know what I would love? Do you know what I would love? I think would be absolutely fucking crazy good. Let's have a Tim Drake series. Gail Simone writes Tim Drake, and Grant Morrison writes the Riddler.
Oh wow!
Right? And let that miniseries unfold where Robin is going after the Riddler, and the Riddler is bringing out his best work, which we know only you need the wild ass imagination of somebody like Grant Morrison.
Yeah. I need to read. So he said that. So I only read bits and pieces of the Tinian run when he was on Batman. I like the characters that he created. I wish they had kept Clown Hunter or Clown Killer.
Clown Hunter.
Clown Hunter. Yeah, I wish they had kept him around, but it's one of those things where I think they weren't going to keep him past the end of Tinian's run. So yeah, so that's great discussion on the Tim Drake thing. Yeah, Gail Simone, fantastic. She, I think, easily one of the biggest underrated writers right now working.
You know who's underrated? Man, she's totally working. So like, she's not that underrated, but
who's
underrated who would give us a great freaking Riddler story? Peter Milligan.
Oh, okay.
Peter Milligan, yes, absolutely. Okay. He did Batman Dark Knight Dark City. Do you remember that?
I don't, but I'm gonna go back and look it up.
Because Riddler was into some ritual / symbolism shit in that story. That was great. Where all his riddles were like
right, yeah.
Multi shit. It was so good. All
right. So let me bring it back and let me send it over to Jen. All right, because I know. Okay, so let's refocus back. Remember, top 3 most impacting comic characters. We had great discussion on Tim Drake because I'm always down to talk Tim Drake. But oh man, I can't wait to get to you. All right, Jen. All right, so most impacting comic characters.
Don't let me down, Jen.
Man, top 3 is very, very hard. You got too many superheroes, too many villains.
Heroes,
man, heroes.
You said top 3 characters, or you said heroes? Just straight
top three characters that have had the biggest impact on you.
Watch this dude come up with Darkseid, Magneto, Apocalypse.
Let's go with Doctor Doom. I'll use him as my number 3.
Okay.
Doctor Doom would probably take my number 3. My number 2 would probably be Namor. He's got some really good stories. Namor. My number 1 would probably be Superman. But without Superman, you wouldn't have all these heroes or these villains or the supernatural stuff. So, like I said, if it was a top 5, you'd probably see Blade in there. I think Blade helped, create what the universe and into cinema and everything. Even though he had the green and the brown and those, he had a completely different attire compared to what Wesley was wearing. And if there was a 5 spot, that's you have your top 4 now. I guess 5 would be someone along the lines of, I don't know, man. It's like there's too many heroes, man. There's a lot of good ones too, lots of good ones. I don't know. I would have to probably give the cake over to. I don't know, maybe Well, you said Magneto. I really like Magneto a lot. There's Magneto. I would say Cyclops. I guess Cyclops would get it. It's between him or Magneto. Cyclops is the only other character that has fought next to nearly every family member, has fought through every mutant war. He's got, if there's any character that I know more about, it's probably Cyclops, because he's went through sagas upon sagas. He's seen Sentinels. Lost his wife. He's buried a clone.
Abandoned his son.
And he's fought with his sons. He's met his dad and found out he was a pirate. He's left the X-Men. He's even taken the back burner to the X-Men and let Storm take over. He's also
whooped his ass. She whooped his ass.
Right.
He was out of touch with the current X-Men, who he couldn't understand and relate to. He was hanging on to that relationship with Homegirl by a thread, had a new baby, and then Storm took it to the danger room and no powers whooped his ass. But other things you said about Cyclops are totally true.
Yeah. So again, he's absolutely right. She did whoop his ass, but the thing is, a lot of that has to do with like he said, his inner struggles, right? Like he was dealing with a lot of bullshit, which is why you get the whole Magnetos, right, and all that crap that eventually started a trend. I don't know. I would say Cyclops would definitely be in my top 5. Then you got Cyclops, you got Blade. I said Doom. I would probably move Doom over Namor. The reason I have Namor is because he has so much history, man.
He does.
Namor has history even beyond Marvel. He has a history where he's a first flying superhero. Superman wasn't the first flying superhero. He was like the there's a reason they said that he's faster than an automotive can leap building.
All buildings in a single bound.
Yeah, single bound, and
that means you're flying technically.
No, it's not. It's just you just jumping really high. And the thing is, Namor was the first actual flying superhero, but eventually that transitioned into Superman flying and all that. There's Wonder Woman too, man. I like her also. I like Batman too. Hence the handle future Batman.
You like
but Batman has had a lot of really good writers, and he's had also a lot of really bad writers, like using the utility belt for every situation that he can get out of and all that.
Yeah.
And it's kind of taken away from the charm. I think one of the best Batman stories recent was after the 3 Jokers, where where the Jokers find out who Batman is. One of them already knew, he just never did anything about it, but they find out who he is, and then they bankrupt him. And Catwoman helps, another character that I really love, Catwoman. She helps him get like all his money back, but then now the government and his board team monitor Wayne Enterprises, and they keep a track on where his money goes. So he's like, Lucius Fox tells him like, hey, you can't use your money the way you used your money when you messed up your Batmobile, or when you got a wounded shot to the gut. Or now you have to be tactical, you have to be smarter when you go out there and you take on bad guys. Namor, I don't know, man. Namor is such a amazing character. He's gone through fighting Nazis to pirates. Those old funny comics were all about that. It was about fighting Nazis and pirates, and even like the stuff that transitioned over to Marvel, like the way they transitioned him over, giving him an identity and turning him into more of an American soldier. That right there, just that whole history of Namor. You have to go so far back that if you were to try to make a movie on the character, you would have to do it correctly. Like, you'd piss off so many purists. I don't know, but those would be my top 3 for sure. I would say Superman, because he's the big daddy, the takes the grandfather. He should be treated as the way Odin is in the DC universe. They should just retire him, just the way how awesome his power set is. And then then you have Dr. Doom and Namor for me. So yeah, those are my top 5. So we'll go from there. There's others, man. Like I said, it's very hard to choose just 5 out of like the 300, 400 superheroes that they've, and villains that they have in their the encyclopedia of Marvel and DC and so forth. So it's very, very hard to just go off and just say, oh yeah, these are just my top 3, when I have like a top 10 or a top 20.
Oh yeah,
great in their own ways. All right, so I want to hear what Paul's got to say.
All right, folks. Hey, so we are talking about our top 3 most impacting comic characters. We've been all over the map, had a lot of cool stuff. Make sure, hey, while we're taking this quick station break before we go to Paul to get his take on it, make sure that regardless of which channel you're watching on, make sure A, hit that like button, B, drop a comment and say hello, and C, if you like the discussion, if you like this crossover between Cliff and I, make sure and subscribe to both channels. Cliff on Comics, and you can also find me here on Carl's Collects Comics. We're also broadcasting to Facebook as well as Twitch right now. If you're on Twitch and you're one or two of my lonely viewers over there, make sure and drop something in the comments below because I want to send you a special something. And last but not least, make sure and tune in for the second part of this crossover this Sunday at 9 a.m. Central. We're going to be going live from the Cliff on Comics channel, but you'll be able to watch both parts of the crossover on both channels. So make sure that you're subscribed to both channels and hanging out with us. Lots of great programming. Also, make sure to check out Council of Comics 2. That is the other channel that Cliff is a part of. Let's go back and see what Paul has to share with us about the top 3 comic characters that have most impacted him. So, Paul, what you got for us?
All right, so we're gonna go to when I was collecting comics. So I would have to go. Number 3 would be Punisher because he was a villain, then an anti-hero. I always liked him, and then the skull that it represented. Number 2, I'd have to go with Spider-Man because at the time I was reading when he was getting close to. It intrigued me that he was battling Venom, and his spider sense didn't work against him. And then, going against the alien symbiote because everybody knew that he had it first. Then Eddie Brock having it. So, reading about those fights, really, I really like that. And the number 1, I'm gonna go off, but he is a comic book character because technically the show and the comic book came out. But this guy made boys to men, meaning like if you watch the Transformers the movie, people cried. I know I did. My dad said stop crying, man up, but I love this character right here. He made it after his brother. I think his brother was in the army, I believe. But yeah, love this character. I know maybe I'm leaning more to the show because I watched the show more than I read the comic. Because if you read the comic and the show, it was totally different. Totally different. I think Shockwave took over as Decepticon leader for a while. I read a couple of the comics, but I love the show so much. I just stayed with the show. But yeah, that's my number 1 character I love. Optimus Prime. When they killed him off, I was in my room for like a month, I think. It was a month and a half.
They were ready to kill Duke.
Did I what?
They were ready to kill Duke. You know that, right?
Oh, no. So, yeah, that was the funny part, too, because so when they killed him off, they got so much backlash. Duke was in a coma. But what's funny is like when me and my dad watched it, you see a poisonous cobra go into his body. And at the end, Doc said that he's recovering from his coma. Yeah. And I turned around to my dad. I was like, man, Dad, Doc said he's coming back from his coma. He said, nah, that dude's super dead. You got a venomous cobra going through your body, through your heart. He said, that dude's super dead. I said, no, Doc said he's alive. But they did that because they got a big backlash for killing off.
Oh, yeah. When Optimus Prime died. Oh, yeah. Kids were like, I was one of those kids.
I was. My dad said,
everybody was crying in the theater, because the favorite character, that patriarchal character, had just been offed on.
I know. I didn't want Rodimus Prime. I was like, man, Rodimus Prime, get him out of here. I don't know.
I mean, he was a cool car, but I mean, he wasn't Optimus Prime. But I love, you even wore your Matrix of Leadership special T-shirt just for this.
Yeah, no, I love Optimus Prime. But yeah, those are my 3.
Awesome. I would throw in. He's been mentioned in the chat. Also, I want to make sure and give a big shout out to White Tiger. Big White Tiger fan. He was the first Hispanic superhero that Marvel created. He appeared in Puerto Rican. That's right. Yeah. And he Deadly Hands of Kung Fu number 19. It was a magazine. And then, but the big one, we actually broke it here on the channel like several years ago. but his Spectacular Spider-Man #9,
Number 9.
way better cover, and it was a standard size comic book. So that comic has actually now become a big deal, as well as the rest of them. I always keep at least one White Tiger comic here on the display behind me. But that's a big character because it's a big deal, and that came out around the time of my birth. When that it was a couple years, I think I was maybe a couple years old. But it's important to me, especially with kids now, to have somebody that, like, some of these characters that I can point at them, that I can show them, and they can learn about them and see, okay, this is cool. I just always wish with White Tiger, I always wish that it had been more like Black Panther, where his powers had been like, his power set and his abilities had been more tied to his culture, because I think there's a lot of cool stuff they could have done with it, but his origins a little bit kind of like, he picked up something that was discarded by some other characters, and then he took that, and that became kind of his own thing. But White Tiger's a big one. Like I said, Blue Beetle, Zorro, those are all major characters. And then, of course, Nightwing. Nightwing was the character that got me back into comic books in my early 20s. I walked into a comic shop. I said, hey, this is I'm kind of looking for something that I can relate to, that's fun, with energy, but is not too crazy, too dark or whatever. And the guy picked up a Nightwing trade paperback. It was the first few issues of the ongoing run by Chuck Dixon from the 90s, with art by Scott McDaniel. And I took it home, I read it, and from that point forward, I was a Nightwing fan. I'd never really paid attention to Nightwing before that, but after that series, those first ones, that got me back into comics. So, like, these thousands and thousands of comics that you can't see that are off screen, all that stems back to that Nightwing graphic novel that I said, man, this is fantastic. Because I could relate to it. It was about a young hero trying to get out of the shadow of his mentor. And I had a mentor at that time that was a phenomenal guy, but he cast a huge shadow. And I was working to try to get out from under his shadow. And the Nightwing story was just a really cool one of a young man, also a young hero, also finding his way. So that was a cool one. It was a one that was really impacting. And again, all this, it started that original Nightwing run. Scott McDaniel was the artist. Chuck Dixon was the writer. Chuck Dixon was also writing the previously mentioned Robin series at the same time, starring Tim Drake. And he was also writing the Birds of Prey series, which had Barbara Gordon, who was Oracle at the time. So it was really cool, the crossovers that they would have between those different titles, because it was the same writer for all of them. So definitely worth checking out. I think you can only find them in omnibuses now, but
they're find them around. They're just not in full sets. So if you're trying to read,
you gotta go digging for some of those things. But the neat thing about some of those titles, especially the Tim Drake one, it's not an expensive run to build.
That's actually his best run, the 90s run, because that goes into like his. Yeah, because it goes into his detective work, but as of recent, haven't really. The New 52 kind of ruined his character, so, and they ruined a lot of characters.
I wouldn't say. I wouldn't go.
I don't know. Ruined is kind of hard. I don't think it ruined it.
They ruined a lot of characters.
No, because here's the thing.
Retconned a lot of events.
If you have the right writer, like if you get the right writer. Because I still point to Gail Simone rebuilding Catman, the Edward Blake.
That's a really good run.
Oh, Catman.
Yeah, Catman's an amazing character because of her. So yeah, you're right.
But that's the thing. Before that, he was a clown, like he was a joke. But she went and she plucked him out, and she rebuilt him with a kind of a rebirth origin story. And turned him into like a really formidable, like somebody who was approaching Batman level of cool. Mm-hmm. And I just thought, man, that's the thing. All it takes is a really good writer with a really strong angle of approach. And yeah, you can completely bring a character back to what made them, because Tim Drake, that Robin, he ran for 170 something issues. They
183. 183.
Yeah.
183.
Like I
man.
said, the 90s run is his
Tell 'em,
best run, but it's not memorable by current fans. You would have to be an actual avid reader like Cliff over there to actually remember stuff like that, or maybe Carlos, who looked it up and started getting into the character. And so,
But no, what are you
I'm
talking
just
about,
saying,
man? No. Tim Drake, I was buying those way back. I have a complete run. I'm only missing like 3 issues of that run.
Wow.
And yeah, no, it's like, yeah, if you watch my collecting strategy video, which it's obvious you didn't, I guess, but you know, it's like I've built that run over years, and that one and the Nightwing run from the 90s, phenomenal Batman stories, and especially when they crossed over. Nightwing issue number 25, Tim Drake and Nightwing on a training exercise on top of a train at night as it's getting robbed and they're blindfolded. Awesome. One of the best single issue stories ever written. And it's so underrated. Nobody even knows about it. But it's I talk about it all the time. It's a fantastic storyline. I think I probably have a copy of it here because I always keep at least a couple of copies in the giveaway box. Yeah.
Ooh.
This is Nightwing number 25. And this is one of the best single issue stories you will ever read. One of the best. It is. I would say it's probably. It might be the best team up between Tim Drake and Dick Grayson. And it's one single issue. You can find it in any back issue bin for like $3. And it's written by Chuck Dixon, art by Scott McDaniel. Fantastic stuff. Love it. It's excellent story. So, all right. So let's see. Tell you what. Okay. So Cliff, since you're the guest, normally we do a segment on here called Retro Reader Review, and it's where you share. Usually it's me that's sharing it. I share like a collected edition, just like kind of like what I did then, but a little bit more detail on it. A story that's been out of the limelight for a while, or maybe it had, it's something that's already been published since a while back, something that people can go looking for if something about it piques their interest. So I wanted to see if you had one that you might want to share, one or two. You can share 2 if you want to, if you have
Let's see if I can even share one, because since you mentioned it earlier, my brain has been churning.
It's been churning. Too many options. All right, while he's doing that, I'll go ahead and say this again real quick, or share about this. This is Nightwing issue number 25. Your job, dear watchers, is to go, next time you're in a comic shop, go check out Nightwing. This will be classified as volume 2, issue number 25. It's not going to cost you much of anything. And this is one of the best single issues of comics you will ever read, because it's such a cool big brother, little brother storyline between Tim Drake and Dick Grayson. And like I said, I always, you won't find like a near mint copy for $3, but you will find a well-loved one like this. I'm going to go ahead and show off some of the artwork. It starts with it's called The Boys. And it starts with the 2 of them blindfolded, jumping onto a moving train in Gotham City, and they're doing this as a training exercise. Batman's nowhere to be found. It's just the 2 of them. They are riding on top of this train, and they're having this has some of the best dialogue I've ever heard. I've ever seen written for these 2 characters. And they're just talking about life. They're talking about, relationships. They're talking about their shared kind of love-hate thing with Batman, all this different stuff. Just like a big brother and a little brother just catching up with each other. And it is one of the coolest things to read it. And it's a quick read because it's a standard-sized comic book. It's only about 22 pages. Great artwork by
an announcement.
I will be in a comic shop tomorrow.
Emma will be at the comic shop, guys. So line up.
All right. So, Cliff on Comics, you got one ready?
I've got them. I got several ready now.
Awesome. All right. Let's go back over to Cliff. Hey, again, remember you're watching the Carlos Collects Comics and Cliff on Comics collaborative crossover event. The first, hopefully, of more to come. But hey, make sure you're also tuning in this Sunday on Cliff on Comics channel to watch the second part of this crossover. Let's go back to Cliff and see what he's got for us for his retro reader review picks.
All right, so first up, for my love of George Perez, Avengers Assemble Volume 1. Beautiful George Perez art. Great story. We got Busiek doing stuff. Wonderful intro from Busiek, by the way. I mean, it's weird to have the intro written by, like, the dude who wrote it, but it's great. A breakdown of who the characters are. And it kicks off with, of course, the Avengers going up against Morgan Le Fay, which I think she's a great villain when used properly. And I remember when they were doing Age of Ultron, they're like, "Oh, Ultron, this is terrible, blah 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 blah." And then Morgan Le Fay shows up and she's like, "You forgot about me." And like, cause in that world, she's like, "I've been amassing magic, you idiots." So I like that she turned into an extra threat there. But like this one, she like rewrites the past. You got the Squadron Supreme running around trying to prove they're better than the Avengers because they have no home to go back to. So, but again, George Perez loved this Avengers Assemble Volume 1. I love Superboy and the Legion of Superheroes, and they are not collected properly, like almost at all. But the Levitz run, and this is Levitz and Mike Grell, Superboy and Legion Volume 1, we got here. And it just, I like how it says love in the 30th century because, like, Lightning Lad and Saturn Girl are married, and of course we're leading into the wedding of Bouncing Boy and Dual Damsel. So there's that, and then Volume 2 is even bigger than Volume 1. All right, and we get some really great stories in here, and even some Superman and the Legion team ups that take place between from DC Comics Presents. They haven't come up with a Volume 3. They released Zapgo's Legion, which takes place before these two that I'm showing you. But if you want to get started somewhere, I love Levitt's Legion. These are great places to start. Also, Starlin worked on these two, and Mike Grell. Come on, guys. And then, for some independent flavor, I really enjoy Ambassadors. From the world of Kick-Ass, we get Ambassadors, part of the Millarverse. So I really enjoyed this, and I really enjoyed Big Game. And also, like, Netflix kind of paid for this, so that's interesting too, but who knows where that deal is. I mean, that man made a lot of money off of Netflix, and Netflix was like, okay, cool, we are what we are. Nerdy Geek, what's up? And then, one y'all should keep your eyes open for, which I think is great, and I think you will too, is Paul Dini's Zatanna.
Oh, yeah.
All right?
Yep.
It's a thick boy. It's the whole series collected here. The whole underrated, underappreciated, underserved series.
Yep.
With fabulous stuff going on in here. It is some of the best. I mean,
Yeah.
Come on.
Yep.
So highly recommend.
Nice.
Job. They do a good job.
You did. That was fantastic, man. That was great. I'm also a huge fan of Zatanna. New fan of Zatanna. I've only been a fan of Zatanna for the past, I think, couple of years, maybe. I pick up books, but man, some of her books are pricey, and I'm not talking about like classic Silver Age stuff or Bronze Age. I'm talking about modern stuff since 2000.
Yes,
Like those
you're
Adam Hughes
right. There's
covers.
no Terry Dodson, beautiful covers.
Yes.
Someone was picking
Yeah.
up a book. Where were they? What? Their
Yeah.
heads were in the derriere. That's where they were.
Yeah, a lot of people slept on Zatanna. But it's cool to see her kind of not getting her due, but like getting a lot more exposure across different titles. I loved her being included in Justice League Dark because I think it was a team book like that, way more than Justice League, really showcases her. It, like, you know, it's because it's in her element, you know, and you put her in Justice League, it's kind of like, well, you got Superman, you got Batman, you got all these different characters, and then you've got her, Zatanna, you know. She just kind of, you know, didn't quite gel with it. But the Justice League Dark concept was a really good one to put her in the mix and see what they did with it. I liked her getting used in Identity Crisis.
Yeah.
Do you remember that one? Yeah, I liked her usage of that.
They made her the real HBIC in that one, and
yeah.
Oh, Comics with Bueller. What?
What's up, Comics with Bueller? Good to see you, buddy. Thanks for dropping in and saying hello.
Listen, that man does the weekly comics beautifully every week, like clockwork, and I love it. I love it.
Well, I thought you liked my hauls. You always comment on them.
I like your hauls too, of course, but like Bueller's got life going on, and he still takes that time. And we all have life. I mean, like he's got heavy pressing things going on. He puts up videos.
All right, so hey, speaking of, let's see, let's do our Paul's pickup segment because every week for those who watch, but maybe if you're brand new to the channel, to this channel, remember this is the Cross Collects Comics and Cliff on Comics crossover collaboration tonight. This is part 1, and then part 2 is going to be over on Cliff on Comics on Sunday at 9 a.m. Central. So make sure you tune in for the second half of our crossover. We'll continue on some of the discussion, and I think we can be good friends now because we both are huge fans of Tim Drake. So I'm glad to have found that out. But hey, so every week, one of the things that we do here on Capes and Commentary is Paul does his pickups. Now, the pickups are all over the board, but they're always really good books to pay attention to because Paul has an uncanny ability for picking up books before they get hot, before they become a big deal. So if you want to know, hey, what book should I be on the lookout for, always check out Paul's pickups. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and send it on over to Paul, and let's see what he's got with us.
All right, guys. So y'all know what it is. We're gonna make Carlos cry a little bit, but light week this week. Light week. I got some other stuff that I did. All right, we're gonna start off with this one. I showed Carlos today. I thought this book would get past the Energon or what happened in Transformers 30, but nope, we're not lucky. Look at that. Good. It still continues. If y'all don't know, Transformers 30's been making waves. People are not really happy about this. He's not even called Orion Pax. He's called Optimus. So, hey, boy, I ordered these, so I got the nice Optimus. At least they kept him. And then there's the Invincible variant. So I got those. Got this one. I have the original, but this one was pretty cool. The Dragato black and white. Yeah. Know your boy had to pick up another Derek Chew. Got the Wonder Woman variant cover.
Oh yeah.
Now, see, I knew Cliff loved when I show my stuff. So your boy loves David Nakayama.
Oh yeah.
You know, I'm like the the David Nakayama collector on here. I saw this. I don't even know the artist, but the cover was calling me. So
that's who is that? I wonder who that is.
Woman
Pretty
one variant cover. I didn't even know about it. So your boy picked up some White Sky, and yes, there are still, Emma, there's still some left over. So this is the second print White Sky. Your boy picked up a couple of them. I think I counted like 2. I think I got 2 right there. And I love McFarlane, so your boy
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
boy had to get a couple of
Great
Battle
too.
Beast McFarlane. Oh, I'm sorry, what was it? Oh, that clip had told me something. All McFarlane. These sold out. But your boy was able to get a couple of these. Dork, third print. Which I kind of like the cover. I think it's better than the second one. I mean the second print. But boy got those. And this is hot for some reason, but new history of DC Universe.
The Dakota incident.
Gotta have these. Got those. You know, I just want to thank Jen and JT and Carlos for sleeping in. EOM, I love his stuff though. Your boy got Lobo #1, EOM. Yep, got a couple of those. I saw this, had to have it. Beautiful foil. Yeah, just want to thank Jen and Carlos for sleeping. And EOM killed it on these. So I had to get a couple of copies. For Deathstroke #1. And I'm a big Nightwing guy. Hold on, it gets better, guys. Emma, you watching, Emma? It gets better, guys. Jorge Jimenez.
Oh, the foil. Yeah, nice.
Yeah, Carlos didn't know about this, guys. Emma, you here? So Carlos put in the chat, save me one of these. I like this. It has the symbol. Beautiful. I love the bullet logo. But yeah, so if y'all don't know, Carlos said put one of these in my box. Emma said that, oh, good pickup, Paul. Yeah, look at that, Emma. Look at that, Emma. Let's see. We're going to go back here. Went to Pop Culture Con. Your boy met Sam De La Rosa. So, beautiful. Got him to sign this one. Got him to sign my Lethal Protector.
Nice.
And what's cool is that these guys created a Punchline signed by Bill Williams and Matthew Whedon as the logo. Beautiful foil. Yeah. Well, that's it for this week, guys. Just a light week. Yeah.
All right. Of course, he's got to show it off. There we go. Nice. All right. Emma Dudley approves.
Emma said I couldn't get this book. It was sold out. Look at that, Emma. Look what I'm holding, Emma.
All right. What's up, Comiverse 6230? Good to see you. Thanks for dropping in and saying hello to us. Oh, somebody else, Nerdy Geeks Comics, recognized that Batwoman cover. Yeah, that's a good one. I haven't gone by my LCS yet.
I never knew about it, guys. I saw it and I was like, I'm picking this up because it's really beautiful cover.
Yeah, that was a nice cover. That's definitely a cover buy right there. All right, Jen, did you pick up anything this week you want to show off?
Yeah, sure. I'll show some
All right,
stuff.
let's see what you got, man.
Okay, guys. it's been a while since I've gone to the shop over there.
That's okay. We got like 5 seconds. How many books you got? One.
Well, damn, Paul. I mean, look how long you took. Anyways, look. So, guys, just teasing Paul over here. So, of course, I finally got around to my Batman number 18.
Damn, didn't that come out like 2 weeks ago?
Yeah, like I said, you
That's
should.
still a good cover.
Comprehension is not
What's
your,
up, Louis?
what is it called? Your strengths there, Paul. Anyways, like I said, it's been
That's
like
a cool cover. I like that cover.
So
Yeah,
another cover that I really like is this one right here. This is when the mainstream Justice League meets the absolute universe Justice League.
Oh yeah, they crossed. Yeah.
Yeah, it just I don't know. This is kind of disappointing, guys. If you read it, it was I just caught up with it, and I just felt like if you're pushing the absolute universe, you're not going to make these guys look like a bunch of cucks. So I don't know, man. They just did a lot of things in there that just doesn't make sense. You know, the absolute universe is so hot right now. I just don't understand why you would end it like that. So it's not terrible, but it's mid, man. It's I don't know. And these are the other covers that I really like. It's the
Oh yeah.
I love these covers, man. Just so beautiful. I've been going after each and every one of them. I picked up the latest one for this one. It's just the symbol. I'm trying to find where I misplaced it somewhere over here. So I'm trying
It's
to
in
find
that green box right there.
Maybe, Paul. Maybe. Anyways, and of course you got Jonathan or John Kent. He becomes the Tomorrow Man. I picked up this cover right here. I just thought it was so beautiful. It's by Lucio Perillo, I think.
Perillo.
Oh wow, yeah, that's a nice one.
Yeah, it's a really beautiful cover.
Wow.
I just really liked the art on that. If I get to meet him, I think I may actually get him to sign that one. And then of course this one right here by Sozo Micah.
Oh yeah.
This is the Sirens Love Hurts DC Black label, and so I wrote some notes on this. If you read it, Black Canary in this issue is getting ready to. She has like wedding jitters, and she's engaged to Green Arrow, and Harley Quinn and Poison Ivy just broke up. So they're dealing with that. Apparently, they're treating this like Sex and the City meets The Long Halloween. You should read it. It's not bad. It's actually pretty good. And
I didn't get that at all.
like this would be considered like a summer edition. So the next issue is like going into fall, and then you'll have winter and then spring. And of course, I picked up my blanks. Got some blanks here. I picked up Batwoman. Picked up two Lobos. Picked up two Lobos, and
I like
Marvel
the logo.
Everybody was going crazy over the Marvel team up, but I told the shop owner like, hey, I'm really trying to take that and get a sketch on it. But my biggest I guess purchase of the week. Okay, I'm going to show you guys. This is my Deadpool box right over here that I'm like just putting with all the Deadpool comics and everything. So this little short box right here, I ended up picking up one of my favorite like Deadpool run. I got the complete run of Deadpool. It's 67 issues, and that's not including duplicates, but it's the it's the Daniel Way Deadpool Volume 3. Now, if you guys have read the Daniel Way Deadpool, like I finally got to complete a lot of my missing issues here, but this is like 100% like troll Deadpool. Like this is what made Deadpool. Like you had Joe Kelly run, which was like the best Deadpool run, and then after him, Daniel Way just like created more depth in his fourth wall, like his his inner thoughts talking to him. And he also joins the X-Men in this run. Like he has the he goes into the, like what Hit Monkeys in this run. This is where the second appearance of Hit Monkey. I was so happy that Atomic Monkey had like the entire run, and they gave me a really good deal on it. Like when I say a really good deal, I mean they gave me a really good deal on this run. So of course, then you got your New Mutants 98, you got your first, you got your first Deadpool, then you got the Mark Waid Deadpool, right? This is the one that it's a must read, and then of course you got your rare covers and so forth. And
Oh wow!
I ended up really going out and getting Deadpool, man. I ended up really knocking it out of the park with my Deadpool, and really completing a lot of the things that I wanted for the character. So even gave him his own little box set. So that was kind of cool. Another thing that I picked up, it's we went to a con this past weekend, ended up getting some really sick sketches. So this is by one of my really good friends. He's one of my best friends that ended up becoming a published artist. His name is Matthew Weldon. I'm really good friends with him. I mean, I've known the guy for almost 11, 12 years. I've almost known him as long as David Angelo Roman, who does a Rick and Morty comics. But this guy does all the Street Fighter comics right now, all the interiors for the Street Fighters and Final Fight comics. He was at the con. He said that he's going to do a sketch for me, so he ended up doing this one. And then he had some time, and he surprised me with this sketch, which was Witchblade. He ended up doing a Witchblade sketch.
Oh wow! And
I had a really good time at the con and everything. And then Sam De La Rosa did this one for A-Wolf. I'm supposed to try to get a colorist to because how much she loves Venom and Carnage and everything. So she had a pretty good time at the Pop Culture Con. So she had a pretty good time there, and it was it was just really nice to see her like meet up with Sam De La Rosa there and all that. And like Paul, I ended up getting Matthew Weldon and Bill Williams. They're the ones that ended up doing this exclusive comic cover for the Pop Culture Con, and I thought that was kind of cool.
Wait a minute, hold up. They said that I only had the only copy.
No, you didn't. And that was the thing. I went up there and I snubbed a few. I was like, there's a guy named Paul who's going to show up, and he's definitely going to try to dick measure tonight. They're like, what are you talking about? They're like, this guy, you'll see him. When you see him coming, you'll know exactly who it is. He's got glasses, and he's got one of those men dyes. And they're like, what are you talking about? Those things that you put on your just for men. And they're like, oh,
they said that this was the only copy.
Anyways, we had a good time. But that was my pickup. I have one more book.
What's up, Rod the Weekend? Good to see you. Glad that you come by.
Yeah, I have one last book. Here. Give me 1 second, guys. I'm doing the COVID thing where you're professional at the top and no underwear.
What the? All right, folks. Hey, thanks so much for tuning in tonight. You are watching Capes and Commentary. This is a regular Wednesday night live stream that we do here on the Cross Collects Comics channel. I'm Carlos, and I'm joined tonight by a very special guest, Cliff on Comics. We're simulcasting on both channels. We'll be doing part 2 of this very special crossover this weekend on Sunday at 9 a.m. Central. So make sure you tune in there as well. And hey, whichever channel you are watching on right now, make sure that you're subscribed to both and that you're hanging out with us. And also make sure and check out Council of Comics 2, which is Cliff's other YouTube channel. All right, so let's go back over and let's see what Jen has got for us.
All right, you guys ready? Look at this right here. So when you look on the back, you got the chest buster. So this is actually not on there. I ended up just putting it in one of these cases. It's a magnetic case, but basically the entire Aliens cast was at the Pop Culture Con, and I ended up getting them to sign like all over the book. So you got Rico Ross over here. You got William Hope. You got Cynthia Dale Scott. You got Daniel Cash. You got Michael Bean. You got Mark Rulston. You got Carl Toop. I think he even writes over here like the Alien Warrior right here, which is kind of cool.
I think they write for Cash.
Jeanette, who played Private Vasquez. So this is going to be one of those things. I just need Sigourney Weaver on here, man. And she's probably going to go somewhere back up here by herself, maybe in the clouds. It's still a working process. Once this is done, I'm probably going to send this off to PSA because I've already contacted them and I told them, I'm like, hey, I'm not going to CGC this book. I'm going to end up sending it to you guys. Do you guys want me to send you pictures? What do you want me to do? They're like, oh, you know what? We'll take care of it. We can tell when something's fake. First appearance of Samurai Jack, ended up getting this. Look at this shit, man. Okay. Samurai Jack, man. I mean, got Phil Lamar, who was amazing on Mad TV back in the 90s. I used to love his stuff. And when I found out he was Samurai Jack, when I started watching the show, I was like, what? Samurai Jack is a black guy, right? Nobody knew that Samurai Jack was, Phil Lamar. But when I found that out, I was like, oh my God, I used to love him on Mad TV. So I ended up getting that. And then another really cool thing was that, I had 2 copies. I always have 2 copies of books, and here's why. Because you don't know which one is going to come back in 9.8. Sorry. I was thinking that this was the 9.8, but this is the 9.6. This is the 9.8. So anyways, I always end up taking 2 copies. So if I end up getting a 9.6, I'll usually sell the 9.6 and keep the 9.8 because I am a 9.8 whore. Anyways, Duty Calls Girls. This is one of those cosplay cover things, but I couldn't find a Kim Impossible comic book or whatnot. So I ended up getting one of these comics, and then I ended up getting the voice actress to sign it. And of course, you had Nicole Sullivan, right, who played Shigo, which was the villain, the antagonist of the story. So and of course, getting her to sign this was like, she looked at this and she was like, oh man, that's really, really cool. And she ended up signing this. And then same thing with Christy Carlson. I didn't want to say her name wrong. So anyways, I ended up getting her signature also. I thought that was kind of cool. It was funny because ended up getting a metal one out of that too. Real nice Shigo metal cover. And I ended up getting that. So that's my fire, I guess, my pickups for the week. Ended up getting that. The month. Yeah, or the month. Yeah, pretty much. So that's it, guys. That would be it. That would be the pickups.
Very nice, man. Wow, those are some serious pickups. I've got some books outgoing, but I don't have anything that cool. Shout out Rod the Rican, man. Thanks for stopping by and checking it out. Have to reach out to you and say hey over on Instagram. You can find all of us on Instagram. Cliff is CliffNY2 on Instagram, and you can find him there. And then also Peanut Gallery Paul. And then you can find me, at Carl's Collects Comics across all social platforms. And then you can find Jen is at The Future Batman. And then Paul, you can search just at Paul Comics or at. Okay, yeah. All right. Thanks so much, folks, for tuning in tonight. There you go. You can find me at Harm's Way Chad. There you go. All right. So, hey, we're glad that everybody tuned in tonight. And like I said, this is the first part. We're going to go ahead and wrap it up because it is, we are approaching the late night, and Cliff is slowly melting.
No, he's good. He drank his coffee. We were ready.
I think he is. He's got it.
I drank coffee. Also, I want to say I loved everyone's taste in their books tonight.
Oh, nice.
Oh, no, what?
Yes. Oh, look at that.
Oh, you can't come back on. Wow.
Oh, look at that.
You all made excellent choices, with your books.
Oh, there you go. I knew he had similar taste. There you go.
Oh, hey, dude, I love that Wolverine cover. That's a nice.
No, you don't. You didn't like that.
Yeah, that's a beautiful Wolverine. Be quiet, Paul. You don't know what you're talking about. That's a beautiful.
Gay Detectives, everybody. The other half. Gay Detectives. From the guy who gave you I don't even. This guy's popular. Joe Sema wrote something really popular. I don't. Oh, I think he wrote Morning Glories. But the point is,
Yeah, Joe Eisman. Yeah.
yeah, he's a freaking winner. That woman.
Darn.
Because somebody has to be out here representing the lesbians. I got to be there for her.
Oh, it's good. Oh, yeah.
Corpses.
Do you like Exquisite Corpses?
Yeah,
Oh hell yeah! Look at that
there
cover.
it is.
Show that cover off, Cliff. Show that cover off.
that's right.
Oh man, you got a real nice haul.
That's a really cool one too. That's a really cool cover.
Indeed.
Yeah.
Indeed.
Well,
Look,
you like
Carl,
my haul, so
follower. You got a new follower, buddy.
All right, thanks Nerdy Geek Comics for connecting with us. All right, Cliff. So hey, we always sign off with final thoughts and shout outs. Who would you like to shout out? What final thoughts would you like to offer to the chat as we wrap it up tonight?
Shout out to Melanin and Manga. Shout out to Moon the Storyteller. Shout out to Virtuous Con. Go find them. Give them some love. Support them. Okay? Because I think what they're doing for this community is wonderful. And like they're the unsung heroes. And I got shout out to Black Comic Lords. I feel like people are aware of their presence more so, but I just feel like everybody out here in the community representing all factions of comic books and comic book history, like we should be brothers and sisters in this together throughout. So those are my little shout outs. Also, shout out to Najee Tech Pro. He's got a great little channel. He's local to me. Great young man. Check him out. Shout out to Roderican. Thank you for showing up. Shout out to Lady Fantastic. Thank you for supporting me. Shout out to Madam. Her cosplays are fabulous. I could do this all night. I love everybody. And so, you know, I just and thank you again for having me. And wait, what were the other final thoughts? Shout out.
Final thoughts and shout outs. That's it. Yeah.
How about me?
Final thoughts. Wait, first of all, Antonio, where can we find you? Like, how do I find you on YouTube or on Instagram?
No, on Instagram. I'll send it to you.
He needs to brand himself a little bit stronger.
Right, look at me. I was just sitting up one night being like, "This is bull crap. I need a name." And then Cliff on Comics. God, I did so many shows and so many incarnations. If you look up The Ring Is Chosen on YouTube, you will see some of my sad comic book videos from like 11, 12 years ago. But it was a great show, guys. Thank you so much for having me. I really appreciate it. It was lovely getting to know you, though Tim Drake hatred was unacceptable. But I'm not gonna condemn you as a person for it, okay? We're just gonna teach you to be more Tim Drake literate. We're gonna get you there. That's what we're gonna do.
All right, I appreciate that, Cliff.
All right. Let me go. Since he's talking, let me go and switch it over to the future Batman for final thoughts and shout outs.
All right, guys. You guys know I'm a big troll, so I have to get a rise out of some of you, you know, especially the new guys that show up on here. Listen, I like Teen Titans too, okay? Anyways, because, you know, shit happens sometimes, right? It's my shit pen.
Oh my gosh.
All the cursing is happening tonight. It's all my fault. I opened the door.
Okay, so all right, so listen, so give Cliff on Comics a follow, guys. He brought a lot of energy, a lot of honesty, a lot of integrity. I don't know anything about Cliff, but I am gonna follow him. I may have to tune in for part 2 so I can go on there and troll a little bit. Maybe get a little, you know, who knows? They'll start talking about some things that's Tim Drake related that I didn't know of, you know, clearly. So another thing is, you know, this was Cliff on Carlos segment. Next time it's going to be Carlos on Cliff segment. So tune in. Anyways, another thing is, I'll see you guys in 2 weeks. So on to I guess Paul.
Awesome.
Wherever Paul is.
All right. Let's see what
Yeah, I just want to thank everybody for showing up tonight. You know, I just was told by a lot of people I wasn't gonna get this book, but here it is. But anyway, thank you, Jen, for showing up. Thank you, Carlos, for hosting. Thank you, Cliff, for showing up. He still had that enthusiasm when I was showing my books. It really meant a lot. He always comments on there, great books or that book, and great for him to be on. He has a bunch of energy, and I'm gonna tune in on Sunday just to see how Carlos is going to fit in over there on Sunday. I want to see this. It's gonna be a great show. But yeah, thanks Cliff for coming, and I hope he comes comes on Wednesdays with us. Appreciate it.
Fallen angels.
Oh, you're just lucky. Yeah, look at that, Emma.
You are just lucky. That, and you've got about 50 different comic shops you go to every week with your magic short box.
Yeah,
all over the place.
He wants to beat us to it. That's why.
How do I do it? Emma ordered me this, and Emma put this in my box.
In the meantime, I'm like, what the hell am I following Antonio? I'm like, where are you? I'm like, I clearly leave comments on your shit, but I don't know where I'm leaving them. TikTok.
He's got to get branded. He's got to get himself branded. He's got to have one username across all of them.
I want to thank Cliff for coming on. He had the same energy when I showed the books. Appreciate it. That means a lot.
He's gonna be like, like Tony collects kilos. Like, what is it?
Well, yeah.
That's actually a good name. I'm gonna write him down.
Is this gonna end like Scarface? I don't know.
All right, folks. Hey, you have been watching Capes and Commentary here on the Cross Collects Comics channel, simulcast over to Cliff on Comics. Make sure you tune in on Sunday morning, 9 a.m. Central, for the conclusion of our crossover. I'm excited to have done this. Really glad with how it turned out. Had a lot of fun defending Tim Drake against the naysayers here on this panel and in the chat. But we'll be back with you. We'll see you. And remember, hey, if you're a Cross Collects Comics subscriber, make sure that on Friday night we're going to be doing Expensive Paper Showcase. So you can tune in there as well. We're working on some brand new top 10 videos as well, and some other cool stuff. So make sure you tuned in, you're subscribed, and hey, consider becoming a channel member to help support the channel, help keep it going. All right, thanks so much. We will see you next time. Take care.